And we are live. Hello, everybody, and welcome to Forever Sports. It is a Monday morning. It is test week, ladies and gentlemen, and time to get excited because it's a big week to come. I genuinely think that come the end of Saturday, we will kind of know what we have to do to go and win the Rugby Championship. We would have had the All Blacks versus Australia game in the morning, and we'll kind of be a bit more aware and kind of have a bit of understanding of where we sort of stand against Argentina, because hopefully we go. I'm saying call a spade a spade. We need a bonus point win on Saturday. That is the goal. That is the minimum requirement for Saturday. We've got to get a bonus point win. It's simple. If we don't get a bonus point win, our chance of winning the Rugby Championship drop dramatically because we're playing at home. Yes, maybe Durban's not got the best record for us, for example, previously. But we played at home against the team currently lost in the Rugby Championship. Yes, they played well, but we need to go out and get a bonus point. Now, people, I want to ask you guys in the polls is, what team should Rassie pick? Back the same 23 as All Blacks win? Or do we rotate? Rotate and bring back experience. That's going to be the XP there. So, for example, like, do you start Damian Williams? Well, I can't start Damian Williams and Caden Moody. Damian Williams will be at 15. But do you start Andre Esterhuizen and Caden Moody? Or do you bring back Damien Delendi, JC Creel, for example? Those are the type of selections. Are we talking about a Andre Pollard at 10? Or are we talking about a Sash Romani at 10? Those are sort of the selections that I think are the very interesting ones for this weekend. And I personally think that there's a lot to be said about going with a bit of continuity for a change. We've had effectively 2 weeks off by the time we get to Saturday. So we had a full week off last week. They got back on Thursday and kind of got things going again. But they had a few days off, had an opportunity to reset, for example. And now we go again this weekend. And as a result, everyone should be pretty ready to go. Somebody, for example, is talking about Ruan Nokia needing a rest. I don't think he necessarily does. I think that he's played majority of the games. There's no doubt about that. But he's also had weeks on here, and we've had decent amount of times between games to be able to sort of rest players. So I don't think that at the moment fatigue is as big of an issue as we probably think it might be, to be honest. And I'm interested to sort of see how the approach is going to be this weekend and for next week. Because for me at the moment, I don't really care about building depth in these next two games. I really, really don't. I mean, it might sound controversial, but I don't care about building depths. I would be brutally honest. The next 2 weeks are about getting 10 points. That is, for me, the only thing that matters. It's getting those 10 log points. It's making sure that we get 2 bonus point wins against Argentina. That is all that matters. Team selection, scoreboards, performances. For me, that's all secondary. It's 10 points. It's win the Rugby Championship. Because then we can have a go at the end of the year where we've got 5 games, 3 of which you can potentially rotate, to then continue building our depth, to continue looking at exactly what's cooking and the likes of that. So that's kind of where I'm at. Is let's get to the next 2 games, for example, and then we can worry about more rotation, for example, more squad building. And we have done a lot of squad building. So, I think there's a lot to be said about the fact that we've done so much squad building that I'm not overly concerned about, having to give players an opportunity, because I think a lot of these players have been given good opportunities so far throughout the season, and that's a really, really positive thing. And I think that the big thing for us now is what's that squad going to look like at the end of the year, for example, and where do we need to build depth? It's not just about building depth for the sake of it. Where in particular this year have we identified positions or players or, combinations where we need to build a bit of depth? Where is that? Where is the concern? And we've got to be very upfront and honest about it. You've got to understand that there are going to be some concerns and there are going to be some opportunities to build depth. But at the same time, you also want to win games. And you've got to find that continued balance between winning games, giving people an opportunity, growing depth, and building momentum, as well as, refining a playing system that we are still sort of getting to grips with. So going to some of the comments, AD says, how's it from Manila? Keep the new boys. They deserve another start. K3A, who's one of our members, saying, how's it, Stevie? I totally agree. Can we please win this damn TRC? It's wild that it would be our first back-to-back. Long overdue. I 100% agree with that. And Malabongo Malinga saying, balance is key. All our Tonyball might bring us back to Ellis Park once more. And I think that's the big thing, isn't it? That we're trying to get right, is that balance between creating depth, finding our game plan, getting results, growing our side, etc., etc. So it's not an easy thing to get right. It is complicated. To be honest, it is a difficult thing to find, because there's so many different sort of balancing acts that you got to try and negotiate, really. And I'm very interested to see what the plan is going to be. But I think we are still perfectly placed so far this year to play our best 23, whatever it might be in the next 2 games. And then at the end of the year, to take a bit of a wider squad, probably a 35, 36-man squad, similar to maybe a World Cup squad type of vibes, and be able to rotate and maybe play a weaker vertical side or a new side for Japan. And then you obviously got Ireland and France. But I think the big thing that people are now sort of asking, and the big sort of question marks, is we talk about playing our best team, our strongest team, our first team, inverted commas, against Ireland, against France. What does that look like? Because having gone and had a record victory against the All Blacks, people are saying, well, Kenan Moody might be our first choice, number 13. Somebody was saying that Jesse Creel's gone from captain to being our second choice outside centre. Is he our second choice outside centre? I don't think, necessarily one bad result suddenly means these players can't play. Similarly, I don't think that, a couple of good results suddenly mean that the other players are undroppable, for example. But you've got to have the conversations about the fact that, there is a lot that can be said about, is Kenan Moody potentially the number 113? Is Damian Willemse, for example, a preferred option at 12 against some of these sides? Or is Andre Estes the preferred option at 12 against some of these sides? And what does our first team look like? Because I don't think we really know, to be honest. And I think that's what's quite exciting, though, is we don't really truly, at this stage, know and know exactly what our first team is. Albert says, and still the really on hate online continues. Yeah, it's very, very weird. I mean, he's been brought back into the squad to train for the next 3 days. I think that's a brilliant move from Rassie. He's going to provide a very nice picture in front of the likes of, Jean-Cruz Malia, for example. I don't know if Thomas Albanor was actually trained, but he's similar to how he's playing, that left foot option. And I think that's what he's brought in, is to be able to help prepare. And then he's going to go back to the Bulls. So I think that's the perfect role right now, to be honest, for Willie Leroux, because he is such an intelligent player. He does read the game so well. So, utilize that. Utilize that knowledge that he has within the squad. That doesn't necessarily mean he's going to play on Saturday. I think we are seeing the fact that he's going to be phased out as a player, but he's got so much to add as a squad member. He's got so much to add as a mentor and as a member of the squad. And I think we need to be very, very careful about the slander against him, because I think, he's a double World Cup winner. He played over 100 tests, and he's a huge, huge part of Springbok rugby. And Albert reckons that he wouldn't be surprised if Rassie was surprised with a complete new team. The team announcement is indeed tomorrow, 3 o'clock. It's already scheduled on the channel, so we'll be live tomorrow 3 to bring you all of that action. Eugene saying, same forward pack with Archie starting at lock. Grant, Sasha, Delende, Jesse, Colby, Hooker, Willemse, bench backs, Reinach, Pollard, 6-2 bench. I just want to see Marnie this weekend. And what's the weather looking like in Durban, people? What is the weather looking like in Durban? Actually, even let's have a look, shall we? And see. The weather's looking... no, it's looking dry. Look, a bit of rain on Wednesday from the looks of it, but Saturday's looking dry. Let Marnie cook. I'd really like to see him this weekend. I think off the back of that performance that he put in against the All Blacks, his confidence is high. He's a confidence player. Play him against Argentina. We win this weekend. This might be the defining moments of Imani Liebach, for example. This might be the time where he actually grabs the number 10 and says, this is mine. This is not mine because Andre Pollard's injured. This is not mine because Sasha's had an off game. This is mine because I am playing the best rugby at 10. And I'd love to give him that dangle, that carrot, and say to him, go and grab that jersey. And yes, we are moving away from, this jersey belongs to them. But I still say, in a World Cup final, there are certain midsections you would make. And this is the opportunity for Imani Liebach to basically say that you could trust him in a World Cup final, for example, and back him in these sort of games, which for me is very, very exciting. Albert reckons that Visa will be there. Many players need a rest, especially in the forward. Social probably be back. Bershus Maximus saying, would have been nice to see Kwani get a call-up in some game time this season with Fussy out, 100%. And Tristan said, maybe time to test Pollard or Sasha if I'm Zulu at 12, and then Andre or Damien Delende on the bench. I actually would almost like to see Damian Willemse at 12 this weekend and Sasha at 15 and see what that looks like. I think that could be an interesting combination. And I'd rather actually then go that sort of route. I prefer David Willemse at 12. And I'll be interested to sort of see how Sasha goes at 15. Gives him another opportunity. He has played quite a bit there for the Boks. So I think that could be an interesting decision to make. And you've got the flexibility of... So for example, you could go like Marnie 10, Damien 12, Sasha 15, which, by the way, gets me going. And then you have Pollard on the bench, and then you can make any sort of change you want. You could bring Pollard at 12, shift Sasha to 10, for example. You could bring Pollard at 12 and bring a Damien Willemse to fullback, for example. Take Sasha off. You could take Marnie or put Pollard at 10, keep things at the ball. You could even swap Sasha and Damien in the second half to 12, 15. So that gives us a lot of flexibility, and I think it'll be a very, very cool idea to try and go with something like that to sort of see what happens. But I really, really like Damien Willemse at 12, and it's such a difficult situation because Damien Delende is so good. He's been world-class for us for years and years and years. Also, somebody's going to get to 100 caps, but I just love Damien at 12. I just absolutely love him, and I think that it's a huge blessing that we've got to have such depth in these positions. The Sharks just announced their tour squad. We'll chat about that in a bit as well, because the URC is back, people. Kiwi says, I think Springboks will select an experiment squad. To answer your question, Josh, yes, Sasha is fit. He is part of the squad and is available for this weekend. Bercher says Willemse Cooks at 12. Albert says Willemse at 12 with Jesse at 13. Sasha Van at 15. Don't mind that. Keith says, because the Springboks are taking RGs lightly. I don't think they are at all, to be honest. I think they're very aware of the threat that they pose. And Malibongo says, I would definitely have Sasha and Marnie play with Pollard coming off the bench. Right, people, also some very big news. We are formally launching My Picks this week. And some of you guys have already experienced what the platform is all about. But this week we are going and we're doing it properly. We are rolling it out. And there will be an update today, and all the URC fixtures will start to appear. But this is what My Picks looks like, people, and it is basically a platform that has been developed for you people. For you guys in the comments, it is a platform that we've developed over the years from what not over the years, but over the years, we've kind of seen what people want, what we need, what we use as tools, for example, and we've developed this platform for you guys. This is basically our gift to you, really. This has come from the channel. And basically what it is, it's a complete sports prediction and rating platform. So you can see all our games over here, and this is the Springbok game. And what you can do is you can go and predict your team, and that's what we're doing tomorrow. So if you haven't done it already, it's mypicks.app. That is the... That is the URL and the domain. So go and the reason I'm dropping it now is you can go predict your Springbok team. So right now we've got the Springbok side will be announced tomorrow, which means that you've got about just over a day to go and predict this team. So over here, you go to the match day, for example, you got all the different things. So these are your predictions. You can do your team prediction and score prediction. On the day itself, it'll populate a rugby timeline. It'll have all your different events. It'll populate the lineups as well. And then there'll be ratings over as well. So you can see there's time to kick off, as well as then we have a full stats breakdown on the game itself. So there's actually also live coverage on the platform itself. So what you can do today, though, is you can go and predict your Springbok team. And you just go there and go sign up, for example. And over there you go and you basically pick your positions and get better you can. It filters by different positions over here, so you can go look at your loose forwards, you can go look at your props, you can go look at your centers. But it's not a fantasy in terms of go and pick your side, and then depending how they play, you get points. This is a pure prediction platform. And again, you go and put on the Rassie Erasmus cap and see who's going to go where. Who's going to feature here. You can then download your team as well and share it with your mates. And I mean, we're on social media. I think Facebook's probably the best place to then drop your teams, for example. But send them to us, even email them to us. And maybe we'll feature a few in fact, that's what we'll do tomorrow. Email me some of your team selections and we'll feature them on the channel. That's going to be quite cool. So we'll put a link in the community tab as well. But go and pick your Springbok squad over here. Email it to me at YouTube at foreversportsmedia.com, and we'll feature some of the teams tomorrow. So you can go and pick your players. Also, you can go lock in your score predictions. Once more people start to do their score predictions, you can then go and see what the average score prediction is. And I think what's going to be quite interesting is we are probably going to actually maybe almost run a bit of a league and kind of go with the average prediction and see how close the Forever Sports members know their chat. And maybe we'll even do a bit of a betting series, and basically we'll kind of bet on the scoreline or the margin really, or some type of thing. So maybe even on the handicaps, we'll kind of look at what all the people are saying and maybe bet on those handicaps and see how close we are. So that is what you can do for every single team. Also, if you're an Argentina fan, you can go and predict the Argentina side as well. All the players have been thing. And then the big thing over here is you can go to leagues and create your own league. So we will be creating a URC Forever Sports League, and the plan is to get some nice prizes going. We're pushing for some big prizes for the Autumn Nations series, which is going to be very, very, very cool. But you can see over there, that's the Forever Box Score Rugby Championship and by Forever Sports. So you can go and create your own leagues on the platform. You can go create a private league, share it with your mates, and get involved. And down the line, we are then going to have obviously a more personalized league. So if you are a Lions fan, for example, you'll be added to the URC Lions Predicting League. And the nice thing as well is you can actually create very specific leagues. So if you are a Lions fan, for example, and you only want to predict on Lions games, you can create a team prediction league, which is only predicting the Lions teams, for example. You can create a prediction league where you only have to predict the Lions score every week. You can do a league where you can only predict the South African teams, for example. So you don't have to necessarily create a URC league, which is predicting every single URC clash every week, all 8 teams. You can actually go and do a South African conference, and you can select the 4 South African teams, and every week you have to predict those scores. You can do similar things, for end of the year till we're going to have a Springboks prediction league for the Autumn Nations series, and that'll just be the 5 games, 5 teams to predict. Same thing, you could do a Springbok prediction league over the year. So you can say, right, let's predict the score of all 15 Springbok games without having to add All Black games into the mix and random other games to the mix. So you can be as specific as you want within these leagues. And I think that's a really fun thing to be able to do. And at the moment, it's rugby, but we will be phasing in more multi-sports as well. So you'll be able to do, a Manchester United prediction league, for example, and you'll be able to do a Formula 1 grid protection league as soon as well. And then obviously the big thing as well, and one of the big reasons we actually developed this platform is if we go to previous match days, and if you guys have been involved in doing it as well, shout out to you guys. But let's go back to that record victory, shall we, over here. And you can go and rate the players. And this is what it looks like. So we went and actually did all the things. You can see there's our votes, for example. And that's what it looks like. And everybody went and got the stats, and you go and vote there, give them a rating between 1 and 10. You can go over here and see what the fan ratings are. And there, for example, the average rating for All Blacks was 4.8. The average rating for Springboks was 7.8. And it even generates a combined team where it basically looks at the average rating for all the players and puts the highest ratings into a combined team. And then also shows you what your man of the match distribution votes are. So it's a really, really comprehensive and cool platform that we've developed with you guys in mind, because these are the things that we do with you guys, the player ratings, the likes of that. So I'm super, super excited about the platform, and we need you guys to support it so that we can bring in the features. So I want to see my challenge to you guys, because there's some regulars in here. They are the regulars. We will have the URC Forever Sports League ready today. So we need to push. I want to have over 100 people on that league by the end of the week. My challenge to you guys, and I want to call out the regulars, because Albert's back in the mix. K3A is a member. 80's been around for a bit. Tristan's also seen quite a few of the live streams. Malabonga's been on the live stream as well. A lot of you guys are the regulars. I want to see one of you guys create a league and let me know. Maybe even invite me to the league if you want. If I'm good enough. But get a work league going. get a family league going. Get a supporters club league going. I'd love to see tomorrow when we go through and we pick our team on this platform. By the way, that's what we now use for our prediction team platform. I would love to see some other new leagues popping up that you guys have gone and created yourself. So please do get involved. You guys have shown us all the support over the years on the channel itself, and that's what's allowed us to build this platform to try and enhance your guys' experience. So I'd really, really appreciate if you guys get involved, and let me know what other rugby leagues you want on this. So at the moment, we've got Premiership that has been loaded, and we've also got the URC. We can add in top 14, for example. You guys need to let us know what you guys want, to be honest. And you can also go and filter about. So it'll be like a lot of games, but you can go and actually just filter what you want to see, for example. So you can go filter by competitions, and then life is good. So yeah, please do get involved. Please do show support, because it means a lot to us, and we spend a lot of time and effort and resources going into this league, and we really, really need your guys' help to make it a success, because I think we could do really, really cool things with it. So in the chat, we had a poll saying which team we should actually pick. It's pretty even, to be honest. 65% are saying back the same 23 as the All Blacks, but there is a 35% saying bring back some XP, which is interesting to see. People were also trying to get some more of these lights. So if you'd like to feature in Rusty's Coach's Corner, please do consider sending a super chat, or else become a member. You get a cool little animation on the screen as well, with your name and the member on the back over there, which is very, very cool. K3A says, so good to see you guys making moves, come a long way. Appreciate that. It's because of you guys that we have been able to come. But I mean, somebody was asking me the other day, like, oh yeah, how long have you been doing this? And I was like, oh yeah, no, we actually, and I was like, we haven't been doing that long, but we have been doing that long. We've been doing this since 2020. 2021 was the kind of the year we kind of broke through, and I think I officially quit my job to do this full time in 2022. Then we went to the World Cup in 2023. We've had 2024, 2025. So we've been doing this for quite a while, actually. I mean, I suppose, you don't get to almost 100,000 subscribers overnight, and it's shout out to you guys for being a big part of almost getting us there. And I think we might get there, maybe not the Rugby Championship, but we'll definitely get there in the Autumn Nation Series, which is really, really cool to see. So yeah, big shout out to you guys. And I've seen there's been at least 5 or 6 people who've just signed up to my picks in the last few minutes. So shout out to you guys. Get involved. Malabonga says, thoughts on Bongi and Marks? Both have been average and not a lot of options outside of them. I thought Malcolm was a lot better in that second test against the All Blacks, to be honest. I think that the lineups were better. He himself was a lot better around the park. Players go through slumps. I think we all know that, and I think that you're allowed to go through slumps, and I think that he'll bounce back nicely. I'm predicting a strong game for him in the next time he plays. But I do worry about Bongi, because I think he's not been the same for a while, and he's not been the same for the Sharks either. And that is a little bit concerning, because we then have to start making big court decisions. But I'd like to see Marnus van der Merwe get the backing at hooker and see if he's the option, if he can replace Bongi and Manambi. Because we need more options. And look, you're always going to have Bongi in and around as an option. Even at the next World Cup, for example, if you go with the next World Cup with Marnus, Jan Hendrik, and Malcolm Marx, for example, and there's an injury, and you need someone to fly in for a semi-final, you've got Bongi, and you know what you get from him, and you know that he's solid and he understands the pressure for it. So this is what the idea of building depth is. It's not to discard players, but it's to make sure that all these players, even if they're not going to the World Cup, even if they're going to kind of almost be phased out, they're always there on standby. If you've got a World Cup final and you've got an absolute tight head crisis and you have to fly somebody in, you're not going to fly in an uncapped tight head to play in a World Cup final. But you could, if it was tomorrow, for example, and he was fit, you could phone in Trevor Nyakani and say, Trevor, I need one big game from you. And he comes in and he understands the systems. He understands the pressure. He understands the occasion. And that's the whole thing about building genuine depth, is having an array of options. You can all come in and do a job. Damien, the team will be announced tomorrow at 3 o'clock. We have got the show already scheduled, as well as our show tomorrow morning. We're going to be doing our Predict the Team. So we're going to be doing Predict the Team tomorrow morning and kind of see where we're at. And then the actual team announcement will be in the afternoon. And then we can actually go score our team, to be honest, and see how many points we got from the team we predicted, which will be fun to do tomorrow. And Albert says, Ackerman has seen talent in Griquas and Cheetah's front row to replace Wilco. Yeah, well, that's the thing. I mean, Wilco move to the Stormers is going to be quite a big one, I think, for the Stormers, and a big loss for the Bulls. But and the Bulls admitted they wanted to keep him, but at the end of the day, it was a family decision versus a financial decision. Josh says, do we start Vilko? I probably think he might be due a start. Bersha says, Jan Andrew Vessels is a good replacement for Marks / Bongi. He played well at Eden Park Test. Well, this is the nice thing. We've got Jan Andrew Vessels as an option. We've got Martin Merve as an option. We've still got Malcolm Marks as an option. So we've still got 3 very, very good hookers before we even think about a Bongi Manambi, who on his day is world class and has had many a top game for the Boks. We're going to wrap it up there, people. We'll be live once again tomorrow morning. So come and join me as we predict the team. And yeah, please do smash like on the video. Please do subscribe